Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and especially thank you to the members of the committee. My name is Margaret.
I'm Charlene.
My name is Amy.
I'm John.
So we know that you have identified that there's a huge problem in this state in terms of the large amount of veterans who are eligible for VA benefits, but who are not taking advantage of these benefits. The result is an overburdened state Medicaid system. So we believe that an alteration in the Medicaid process that targets these veteran applicants, as well as a concerted media effort, will better enable veterans to access the full benefits that they deserve. Our goal within this 90-day timeframe is to process 500 applications over baseline for VA benefits. These are the applications that would have otherwise been submitted to Medicaid.
So there's a broad context for the way that veterans get health care in our state. Currently, we have 168,000 veterans on Medicaid, and we have determined from the rate and the data that we were given that about 138,000 of these veterans on Medicaid are currently eligible for VA benefits. Considering that the average cost of these veterans to Medicaid is about $2,460 per person, the cost is substantial. It's $340 million per year to have these veterans on Medicaid. There's another secondary context, and that is that veterans' benefits are better. We want veterans to get from Medicaid and onto VA health benefits. So we have two pools available to us. We have this 138,000. We have one strategy for dealing with them, and then we have a secondary pool of people available to us. Next year, we expect that Medicaid will have 72,000 new applicants, and about 4,000 of these will be people in this second group here, people who are veterans eligible for VA benefits. We want to target these people specifically because we feel that they are the easiest people for us to reach and essentially intercept and move on to the VA health benefits. So our goals are a lot more modest than a lot of our others. For one, we want to be conscious and cognizant of institutional capacity. We know that the DVS can help the people that they can help, but we don't want to overload them. We don't think that sending 5,000 new applicants to the DVS is a feasible thing. So currently, the short-term economic impact is different than the long-term economic impact. We're projecting that we're only going to move 2,000 veterans to the new system, which is an incredibly conservative estimate, and that this year, if they are only people who would be enrolling newly to Medicaid, which is currently at a 90-10 disbursement, we'd be saving about $500,000. Down the road, if we move these 2,000 people, we'd be saving closer to $2.5 million, and that's assuming Medicaid costs stay fairly stable. Either way, it's a good thing for costs in the state.
Right. So in order to achieve this, we aim to strengthen the capacities of three distinct areas. Technologically, it's important to create a more streamlined back-end system between DCH and DVS. When a Medicaid applicant checks off that they are a veteran, we want that information to be sent to DVS. DVS's system will be able to cross-check that with the Public Assistance Reporting Information System, PARIS, as you may know. Once we determine that eligibility, we will be able to engage them in applying for veterans' benefits. In terms of human capital, we feel it is important to use a portion of this grant money to fund an employee who is charged with specifically reaching out and connecting veterans to the VA benefits that they are eligible for. This person will be the equivalent of the ACA's healthcare navigators and will help to move the bulk of veterans receiving Medicaid off of those roles and onto the VA. Finally, we want to recenter DVS's media strategy so that it is targeting this specific topic.
When it comes to an actual action plan, we plan on engaging stakeholders in two forms, in a traditional media form and a new age media. When we speak about traditional, we want to go out to radio stations, we want to get on the air, we want to go and have meetings on one-to-one. We're hoping to kick off the action plan halfway through the first month, kind of as a centralized and strong start to the outreach program. We're hoping that a senior official or the director of the DVS will be able to go to these radio programs and speak out to the veterans that may be listening on the air, and also could have direct meetings throughout VFW hall meetings. That will be one-to-one contact in which that you can actually go out and talk to the veteran and say, you may be eligible for VA benefits, come talk to us, we're here to help, we're here to try to get you better health care. The traditional form of media would kind of reach some of the older veterans and those that are not as technologically savvy. But we definitely want to, at least from day 15 until day 45, saturate the state's media with the message that this program has started. Then we also want to move on to and change the focus and the shift of DVS's social media presence. We suggest that, again, you saturate the media with information on who could be newly eligible for VA benefits. Twitter, Facebook, your website, your blog. These are all forms that you have to reach out to veterans in the state, as well as those that may be of the younger demographic. By having this start strong to the program and a successful integration between DCH and the DVS databases, we believe that the state will be able to reach out to make more veterans than what is currently happening. By continuing this plan, we hope that you'll be able to reach a 30-day milestone of 65% engagement of people applying to Medicaid that are eligible for VA benefits. And if you continually move steadily through this plan, we still predict that at 90 days you'll be able to have 500 applications over the baseline.
So some of the expected results of this program's implementation process, which we expect to be both effective and efficient, should be able to realize benefits for the state, the DCH, and also the veterans. For the state, we hope that we can expect that the state can save money. Instead of providing healthcare for veterans, the DVS will be doing that. So this is money that can be channeled to other programs within the state. We expect DCH to be able to handle less for there to be a reduction in the number of caseloads that the DCH handles, especially due to the online systems integration. So, and we know that DCH is operating near capacity, so they'll be able to channel this efforts, time, and resources to other projects. And obviously for the veterans, they'll be able to access wider coverage that is offered by the veteran services as opposed to Medicaid.
Mm-hmm. Veterans are people who have given a lot to our country. We feel that this is a way to help veterans better access the care that they deserve and the care that we should be giving them. This is a good thing for the state. It'll save the state money, and it'll help veterans in need. Thank you very much.
I'll go ahead and start. So I know you said at the beginning that you don't want to set too lofty of goals for, you don't want to overwhelm the local offices with new applications, and yet you're bombarding the media waves with lots of information. How do you reconcile that difference?
I'll go first. The way we reconcile that is that that's the only way that we're reaching people who are already on the Medicaid system itself. The sort of patch into the system that flags people who are veterans is for people newly applying to Medicaid, but people applying to Medicaid who already are on the Medicaid rolls are using paper, so that's not going to run through that system. So this is just a way to sort of get to that second pool, which is the pool that we want to move over, and the pool that the state is already paying more for right now.
So, clarify for me, how exactly, so what is part of this system that's going to push people over? So you're saying that people will get flagged when they're applying. I don't feel like we went into very much detail over what will actually go on to make that happen.
Sure. Yeah, so it will be a pretty simple process. It's just a ping, some alert that is sent over to DVS. Honestly, if it's only 1,000 applicants who are veterans who are eligible for veterans benefits per quarter, it's a pretty reasonable stream that we would be able to keep track of, and this application would be flagged both for DCH and for DVS. So veteran applicants would not have a hard stop when they were completing the Medicaid application, but it will be notified within the system.
And is the development of that, so, I mean, what you've laid out involves both some sort of overlay on the Medicaid system, application system, in some way for that to funnel to veteran services. So that development is built within your 90-day timeframe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying anything about VA benefits. It's a very simple, like, there's a box that says, are you a veteran? If it's clicked, that gets sent to us.
Do I have? You have 5 minutes. Oh, it's dangerous. Can we roll back to the implementation plan, please? There. Okay. So, we asked for an implementation plan, and what we have here is a stakeholder plan. I think, Betty, this is kind of my confusion, is I didn't see how everything that we need to do is going to unfold. But it sounds like you've thought about that, but I don't see that. So in that plan to unfold, if we were to visualize that, what are the critical success factors in making that plan happen?
So we want the patch on the website operational by 30 days in, which is when we're going to be kicking off this media campaign, or maybe 15 days in, kicking off the media campaign.
15 to 45.
We think it should be something very simple because it's already a question when you sign up for something like, are you a veteran? All we want is to just know, and then we can run them through the Paris system on our own. And then we want
15 days. Or
yes.
45. 15 days you're going to do that, okay.
And then we have a media campaign for that next month, and we want to make sure that we're ramping up engagement. So when someone is flagged, we are able to get to them quickly. So that's where our 30-day milestone comes from.
When you say get to them quickly, so who is actually getting to them to then enroll in VA?
So there will be a full-time person at DVS who is charged with contacting these applicants. And it is, it's a matter of engaging them. And I know that it can be difficult and confusing. Healthcare is just getting more and more confusing as we are moving on, especially with the ACA rollout. So we want to have someone who is there, a real person who's able to answer their questions and help them through this process.
But they're not the person processing the claim. That's the existing DVS staff. That's why we didn't want to ramp up the numbers enormously, because it's already with the existing DVS staff.
So this one person would be in charge of contacting, I believe your estimate is 4,000 new applicants over the year.
Do I have time? Yep. Okay, so it seems the entire thrust of the plan is centered around this stakeholder engagement strategy, kind of minimizing the technology impacts. So when I'm looking at the channels you're going to use, I see a mass media blitz, which I imagine is PSAs and so forth. You're going to go to VFWs, which have not a great presence of all the veterans we want to reach, and you want to do social media. Have you given any consideration to a more direct channel, for instance, actual veterans health facilities or private care facilities or the VA itself, where you're more, I would believe, more likely to have direct contact with the folks who need this information, or any military facilities within the state boundaries for separating vets?
How we thought about it was mostly, we want to reach the people that usually would fall through the cracks. So when you speak about the healthcare facilities and the VA facilities, these are people that are already there and much more easily accessible to the information we're trying to get out. So no, we actually did not include them so much in our outreach, because taking into consideration past plans that we did study in the creation of this plan, there's just a large number of veterans that just do not get reached to at all, that they do not get contacted, they fall through the cracks. So when we thought about this, those were the people that we were focusing on. We wanted to make sure that those people that are usually more difficult to reach out to, that we could get the information out to them.
And I know this is probably an unfair question, but how would we gauge the success of the media campaign?
How many people do we actually get into our doors? How many people do we get on the website? How many people do we talk to? How many? That's how we would gauge that.
And there are data analytics. You know, we can see how many people we have reached through Twitter, and then seeing if there is any correlation with how many people have visited the website, how many people have been in contact with our liaison at DBS.
Okay, yeah, we're at 6 minutes. Thank you.